Right, going on with the book of First Kings chapter 11, but all the explanations for First Kings chapter 11 verse 1 is almost done, and I have only one chapter left to read, which is Second Kings chapter 16. So First Kings chapter 1 verse 1, chapter 11 verse 1. But King Solomon loved many strange women, together with the daughters of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites, Ammonites, Syrians, which is Aram, Sidonians, and Hittites. And yeah, in order for me to explain this, I already did it in other videos. And as you can see here, 1 Kings chapter 11 verse 1, it says Hebrews 130, the Strongs. And the word there is Edomite. And here you have it again. Here you have it again. And then I click on the Hebrew 130, if I'm correct, it's here. Yeah, Hebrew 130, it goes into, it says here. It comes from Hebrew 123, and then it says here C 726. And then I click on, what was that? And then I click on that. And then I click on that, and then it says here Aram, Syrian, Kethib, Edomite, and the word Kethib is this here, which is Kethib for Aramaic for what is written, is a term is a term used in the Masoretic text and all that there. Let me see. You have the word query. And query is what is read. So kebit is what is written. Kethib is what is written. And query is what is read. And here clearly it says kethib. So what is written there in the Hebrew? In the Hebrew there's written Aram. So they say it is a clerical error for Hebrew 130. An Edomite, as in the margin Syrian. And then it says here in the Gesenius lexicon, help, 2 Kings chapter 16 verse 6, an incorrect reading for Adawamium. Okay. So Adawamium is an incorrect reading for Adawamium. But anyway, because they're coming up, they write it in a mannerism as how a devil would do it. Like, what are you saying? Why don't you just say that thing is not correct? Why don't you just say that? Because they're the devil and they want to trick you, to confuse you. That's why the Heavenly Father said he is not the author of confusion, but Esau is. And therefore the Heavenly Father is correct and right and righteous. And Esau is just the plain old devil. Now here you have, so they refer you to 2 Kings chapter 16 verse 6, and then when you go there, which is 2 Kings chapter 16 verse 6, then you see the truth in the other translations. But I already read that. But if you go down to the Hebrew itself, or actually let me get here, Study Bible, and sent the Edomites to Elath. It says here, Rezin not only secured the city for Aram, because he's from Aram, but also endured that Judah would face continual hostility from the Edomites. Okay, so it says right here, I already read all that. Again here, at that time Rezin, king of Aram, recovered Elath, Fort Aram, drove out the men of Judah, and sent the Edomites into Elath, where they live to this day. So who was there? It was the Aram brought the Edomites over there, and there's many occasions in the scriptures where that happened. For example, that somebody else put other people there. 2 Kings chapter 17 now. verse 23, until Yahweh removed Israel out of his sight, as he said by all his servants the prophets. So was Israel carried away out of their own land to Assyria unto this day. And the king of Assyria brought men from Babylon, and from Cutha, and from Ava, and from Hamath, and from Sepharvaim, and placed them in the cities of Samaria instead of the children of Israel. This is why Yahushua said to the apostles, he said, Matthew 10, so he was talking to the 12 apostles here. He was talking to them. These 12 Yahushua sent forth and commanded them, saying, go not into the way of the Gentiles. Here it comes, specifically, and into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Matthew 15 and But he answered and said, Yahushua said, so it says here, behold, so Matthew 15 and 22, behold, a woman of Canaan came out of the same coasts, and cried unto him, saying, have mercy on me, O Lord, thou son of David, because he is the bloodline of David. So that cancels out the immaculate conception, and thus it is immaculate deception from Esau. My daughter is grievously vexed with the devil. But he answered her not a word. And his disciples came and besought him, saying, send her away, for she cried after us. She's bugging us. But he answered and said unto them, to the disciples, I am not sent, but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So what did he say right here? He basically says, I am only sent to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And guess what? She was one, but she was living in the midst of the Canaanites. Therefore, she was called a woman of Canaan. Most likely Tyre. She came from Tyre. But he answered and said unto, Phoenicians. Phoenicians is Tyre. Well, Phoenicians is Sidonians also. She was a Syro-Phoenician, Aram Phoenician. Let me see something here. Syro-Phoenician. It's in the scripture somewhere. Mark 7:26. Yeah, Mark 7:26. Mark 7:26. I'm going to give you an example of a fact, what it says right here. Here. So Paul was also three things. Well, it looks as if he was three things. This one and this one. I know this one at the head. Romans 11. So it says right here what Paul said. Acts 22:27. Then the chief captain came and said unto him, tell me, art thou a Roman? He said, yeah, I am. I am a Roman. And the chief captain answered, with a great sum have I obtained this freedom. And Paul said, but I was born a free man. So it was even dangerous. Acts 22. I don't want to read it here. It doesn't look fun. Let me read it here. That's for just one verse. It's not. I don't know. It's just it doesn't feel good. So spiritually. So Acts 22 and 29. Then straightway they departed from him. They was like, what the fuck? Get out of here. Him, which would have examined him by beating him. They wanted to beat him. And the chief captain also was afraid. There was, oh shit, this guy is after he knew that he was a Roman. That's like being an American person nowadays and going into another country and then they hold you hostage or something like that. You might get trouble especially if it's an Edomite or a Sodomite. You know, you go to Russia and stuff. But that was all scripted. That was all bullshit. I don't know what the fuck that was. That was some weird shit. But anyway. Like, whatever, man. I don't even want to talk about that shit. These people are just, I don't know. Anyway, it was a Roman, and because he had bound him, you was not even allowed to tie him up. But the point is that he was a Roman citizen, and here it says, yeah. And here it says, Acts 21 and 39. But Paul said, I am a man which am a Jew from Tarsus. So he calls himself a Jew. 2 Kings 12 explains to you that Benjamin belongs to the kingdom of Judah, but they're not Judah, but they do belong to them. Romans 11 verse 1, I say then, had Yahweh cast away his people, Yahweh forbid, for I also am an Israelite, of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin. So now he says he's Banyamin. He's not Yehowadah. Because he said right there, I'm Yehowadah. He said it right here. Well, actually. He literally said, I'm Yehowadah. You know, I'm a Judite. That's what he said. Yeah, he's not a Judite. He's from the kingdom of Judah, which is Judah and Benjamin. But okay, so now he's three things. He is a Roman citizen. He is a Jew, a Judite, and he is a Benjamite. So what is he? He's all three of them. But one specifically is what he is, which is by bloodline, he's a Benjamite. By kingdom, he is of the kingdom of Judah. And by land and passport and stuff like that, he is a Roman citizen. Anyone can be a Roman citizen. Not everyone can be a so-called. You can get a Chinese passport, but you are not that race. You will never be. You will never be. If you are a female, you will never be it. But you can join it. How? But you will never be it. That's the point. You can only make his seed grow in your womb, and therefore that child that comes out, those are Moabite children. He plugged her. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This one doesn't even look like them. Okay, cool. I don't even know what the hell's going on. Is this the same thing? Look like Obama, or Michelle Obama, actually. Anyway, so yeah, so I don't know what he is. I would go off of just what I see right here, because you have to understand, in the time of Midian, the Midianite, not in the time of it, well, in the ancient times. Judges 4:11. Now Heber the Kenite. Now the Kenites are Midianites, which are the other sons of Abraham. Genesis 25. Was of the children of Hobab, the brother-in-law of Moses. Hobab is the brother-in-law of Moses, but Hobab's father is the father-in-law of Moses, because you can see it here. It's not a mistake. Well, it's a mistranslation over there, because the word brother-in-law and mother and father-in-law in the Hebrew is the same thing. Almost to a certain degree, it's almost the same thing. But anyway, here, Numbers 10 and 29, and Moses said unto Hobab, the son of Raguel the Midianite, Moses' father-in-law. So who is Moses' father-in-law? Raguel the Midianite. And his son is Hobab. And and his descendants. Now Heber the Kenite, which was of the children of Hobab. So what are the Kenites? The Kenites are Midianites. I went into a lot, but they was also living in the midst of Judah as scribes. Now, First Chronicles chapter 2, verse 55. Here you can read about them. And the Kenites that come from Hamath, and the ones that are from the house of Rechab. You can read about that in Jeremiah 35, the Rechabites. And after this, they're not mentioned anymore that I know of. Maybe they are. I don't know. I can't think of something right now. So, after this chapter, they're not mentioned anymore. If I'm correct, I might be wrong, but yeah, I didn't Google it, but if I Google it, maybe I'll find it. But I don't remember seeing them anymore. But anyway, but my point is that another race was married unto, so now Heber the Kenite, which was of the children of Hobab, the father-in-law of Moses. Remember, the father-in-law of Moses is from another nation. So he also had severed himself from the Kenites and pitched his tent unto the plain of Zaanaim, which is by Kadesh, which is in Naphtali. But the other Kenites, they were in the midst of Judah. But anyway, so here 17. Howbeit Sisera fled away on his feet to the tent of Jael, the wife of Heber the Kenite. Jael is an Israelite. Heber the Kenite is not an Israelite. So we condone that. Certain things we actually condoned. Few instances and stuff like that. For there was peace between Jabin, the king of Hazor, and the house of Heber the Kenite. So yeah. His family members and stuff like that. Okay, cool. So yeah, I don't know what this guy is. I don't know. But anyway, I'm not even bothering myself. But the point is this: let's say he is an actual Chinese man. Okay, then all these children are Chinese children, and this one really got that. Really just look like this is from another. I don't know. The point is that these children, I don't know if this one belongs to him. I don't know. But the point is that they are Chinese children. They are not so-called black children. They're Chinese. So it doesn't matter what anybody else says. It is what the Heavenly Father says. And that is the 100% correctness. There is no confusion. Let's say his father is a person from Vietnam that had a Chinese wife, which is then for his mother, for example, and then had them. Well, then he is not Chinese. Then he is actually Japheth from Vietnam and stuff like that, and Thailand and stuff like that. And, it goes through the bloodline, through the father's line. So, yeah, I'm going to stop talking about that. So, if you live in if you live in China, this female might be living in China. I don't know. She's not a Chinese person. She has a Chinese passport, which is then there for Chinese nationality or something like that. But her race is, I think she's from West Africa. I'm looking at her. I don't know. I would think that she's from West Africa. Or maybe she's from America. I don't know. So it looks like she's from West Africa. She does look like it. But yeah, she's then from West Africa. I don't know which country. So she is then, she has different nationalities, but she's of one race, right? So same thing with Paul. Yeah, let me leave that. I hope the explanation was good enough, because I was like, where am I going with this one? I know what I'm doing, but with the female, it's kind of hard to explain it. But with Paul is better. Paul has a Roman, you could say a passport, yeah? You could say he has a Roman citizenship. He's a part of a country. And then he is a part of the kingdom of Judah. And then he is from the individual man named Benjamin that had a tribe, and that tribe is called the tribe of Benjamin, and that is specifically directly in a line where he is literally from. That individual single man, Benjamin. Well, that's the same thing with the Syro-Phoenician of. Oh, let me go back to the word before I butcher it. Syro-Phoenician. So it says here. The woman was a Greek, a Syro-Phoenician by nation. And what were we doing with the Syro-Phoenicians? Now, if you go to the book of First Ezra, if I'm correct, let me see something here. I think it's here. No. What am I doing? Here. So First Ezra, and then it says. So, First Ezra chapter 2. I like this one, but it's not like this one. This one is better. First Ezra chapter 2, verse 24, right? 24. Okay. Where was that again? Sorry. Here. Yeah, 24. So it says, "And the Jews were rebellious, and raised war therein, for the which cause even this city was made desolate. Wherefore now we declare unto thee, O Lord the King." They was talking unto Artaxerxes, which is Artaxerxes. If you read from verse 16, actually. If you read from verse 16, then until verse 30, then you will get it. Right, so it says right here, verse 24, "Wherefore now we declare unto thee, O Lord the King, that if this city be built again," that's why these heathen nations are afraid that we built the city of David again. Well, the kingdom of Israel, but it will then therefore be handed over to the house of David, which is the bloodline of individual David himself, his noble bloodline, his royal bloodline, will be the gods upon the planet Earth, you know? All Israelites are going to be gods, but they're going to be like as the angel of the Lord before Yahweh and before the enemies. Because in the Psalms 83, it shows you that, no, 82, it shows you that we are gods. But yeah, so going further, that if this city be built again, and the walls thereof set up anew, thou shalt henceforth have no passage into Seleucia and Phoenice. So, okay, so now going back to over here. Wait, I'll have a point with that. So Syro-Phoenician, which is Hebrew 49. No, sorry, Greek 4949. Greek 4949. Syro-Phoenician exalted palm. The name of a mixed nation. Half Phoenician and half Aram, which is Syrian. So, what was she of nationality? They say she was a Greek citizen, and then they say mixed Canaan, because I'm going to show you what Canaan is. Sorry, what Phoenicia is. Phoenician were an ancient Semitic people. No, they're not. They're lying to you. They have a different language compared to the other Canaanites, by the way. Phoenicia. What do you see here? They're lying to you. These people are the goddamn devil that the Bible speaks of. What do you see here? Sidon. Okay, who is Sidon? Come on, man. And who is Tyre? Come on, man. Genesis chapter 10, verse 15. And Canaan begat Sidon, his firstborn. Come on, man. You still believe these people that believe in that teach flying reindeers and bunnies that lay eggs? Come on, man. Really? You gonna believe these devils? Phoenicia, and here is Aram. So she's from that region. Here is Aram. Look at it, says right there. Here's Syria. And you might be like, well, that's not what it says. It says actually Syria. It says Syria, it doesn't say Aram. Well, if you look up this word Syria, which is Hebrew 578, and then I look up the word Aram, which is Hebrew 758. What did I say? Did I say 5, 7? Sorry, let me read it again. Here is Syria, which is the word Hebrew 758. And here is Aram, which is the word again, Hebrew 758. This is only mentioned 10 times in the King James Bible because they replaced it with Syria, which is then mentioned 75 times in 71 verses. Okay, so now, what is that word? That word is Aram, Arameans, the exalted, Aram, or Syria, the nation. Sorry, man. But you had an Asherite also named that same way. And you had one of the sons of Nahor also named that same way in the book of Genesis 22. And this one I'm not sure. I don't know anymore. I saw it before, but I don't know. It might be here. I don't know. It might be here. Yeah, I'm not going to read that right now. All right, so, yeah. So, what am I doing here? Yeah, so, basically it is Aram. That is the point. That is the word. But they named it Syria, and you can catch that here. You can pause the video if you want to, you know. Oh shit, I lost myself. Where was I? Oh shit, no. Here? No. Wow. Here, okay, here. And then, okay, so Sela, how you call that thing? Here you can see the word Syria. So Syro or Aram Phoenician, they would then therefore say something like that. I'll put this link in the description. Well, I'll put this website in the description box. Phoenicians are Canaanites. Here. They didn't call themselves Phoenicians. Phoenicians did not refer themselves as Phoenicians, but rather as thought. No, it's not a fucking thought, you fucking devil. Rather as known to have broadly referred to themselves as Cain, which is meaning Canaanites. That's exactly what the fuckers. I have to read this. Now, these are from their, they make it their own tongue to fall upon themselves. These are from their historians. This Poseidon dude and this Strabo, this Josephus dude, and this word. I can't pronounce these names, so I'm not going to try. Irritating me. So Herman, yeah, that's kind of easier. Yeah, whatever. So all these things, and this is what he wrote, and there's many more, because this page goes on and on and on from many people that quoted the same thing. All these people. I can just do it differently like this, and so you can see the pictures and stuff like that. Where's the picture guy? Here. These names from these so-called great historians and scholars and stuff like that, but they only reference their own people and also the people of Aram itself, which nowadays is called Syria. So they reference them and they highly respect them, you know, because that's what the devil does. But yeah, anyway, so then here the names Syria, Assyria, Mesopotamia, Babylon, etc., stem from the Greeks, who were not familiar with the true geography of these lands when the names first started to be used. Later, partially because of continued ignorance, and partially because of convenience, despite having accurate knowledge. Black Hebrew Israelites, they're black, out there, black! Meanwhile, we are the so-called Negros, Latinos, and Indianos. That's what we are. That's what we teach, you fucking monkeys. But the thing is, they do it because they're the devil. It's the snake tongue. I gotta say it. That's what they are. That's what they're doing. They can't help themselves. It's like a serial killer putting a neck in front of him, like a female neck, a Caucasian female neck in front of him. You think he's not gonna think of choking that shit? Hmm? Hmm? Come on, man. They can't stop themselves, man. That doesn't justify them, but I'm telling you, like, they can't help themselves. Anyway, they persisted, so they forced it too, in using them, since it would have required something of an effort. It's an effort to tell the truth for these devils, to give up the old familiar names and divisions of the countries because they want to divide you, and switch to the new ones, which are the original ones and the old ones. They came up with the new ones, motherfuckers. You see how they whatever. Even if they were accurate, the more should just be X'd out. What do you mean more accurate? It's just accurate. What do you mean more? The old, true, and single name of these lands is Aram. But yeah, going into that. But yeah, the scriptures backs this up too. Definitely. Deuteronomy 22, Numbers 22, Numbers 23, and also Deuteronomy 23. If you read those 3 chapters, you will definitely see that the land of Aram is the land of Mesopotamia. But anyway, going back to over here. Wow, okay, where was I now? Okay. Wow, sorry. Damn it, man. Okay, Aram. Basically, they changed it, But yeah, so the woman was a Greek, a Syro-Phoenician by nation. She came from that region over there, and she besought him that he would cast forth the devil out of her daughter. But in the other scripture, it says that's the word Canaan. She's a Canaanite. Well, sorry, she comes from that region where Canaan is. That is the truth. See, right here, he speaks the truth, but he then, he puts a little twist up in there to make it seem as she's some kind of mixed breed. No, she was an Israelite, because right in the same chapter, he said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Then came she and worshipped him, saying, Lord, help me. But he answered and said, it is not meat, it is not meat to take the children's bread, which he was supposed to give to the Judites, and cast it to the dogs, which are the ones that were hanging around with the heathen nations, right? And here, look, it says right here. I didn't even notice it. It says right here, then Yahushua went forth and departed into the coast of Tyre and Sidon. And what did I just show you here? I just showed you here, Tyre and Sidon. Oh, sorry. Tyre and Sidon, and let me see here. No, okay. Here you have Tyre, and here you have Sidon. So where was he? He was where the Canaanites are. They're trying to trick you, but you know what the funny thing is? The Heavenly Father will give you the eye salve, and then you will see it. And then you gonna look at him like, what are you trying? What are you? I know what you're trying. Man, he's a deceiver, But yeah, so, damn it, I lost it. So, hey, let me stop that. What I'm doing, jumping around, can't even remember which one it was. So he went into the coast of Tyre and Sidon. Who was there? The Canaanites. But anyway, so now this is then therefore Matthew 15, and then the same occasion in Mark, but Mark wrote it a little bit different, but it would be from Aram, the Aram Canaan, the place where Canaan was, and there close to it was Aram, but she was most likely a Greek by nationality, like for example a passport or something like that. And yeah, so Yahushua helped her. But yeah, okay, enough of this all, because Yeah, so it's not it's not a confusion and stuff like that. Instead of the children of Esau, and they possessed Samaria and dwelt in the cities thereof, because the king of Ashur, which is Assyria, the king of Ashur, he is the one that brought Canaanites, well, Hamites actually, just Hamites, into the land of Samaria. But Yahushua said to the disciples, don't go there. But then he himself went. Is he now a hypocrite? No. He knows your soul, what type of race you are. And you can see that in 1 Ezra chapter 4, you can see that the high priest could do it too. He can use the Urim and Thummim, something like that. And then he could see what tribe you are from, So, okay, enough of this. So yeah, you had the Edomites being put in that land over there. I hope I'm not really keep on repeating to you the whole time, like, yeah, no, hurry up, get to the scriptures. So yeah, if you're impatient, I'm sorry about that. But then again, if you listen to I do it on purpose. No, not all the time. Sometimes I just But anyway, if I catch myself doing it, then I can justify myself. You know why? Because have you ever heard a song on the radio that you hate, and then you hate it so much, but they keep on playing it. They keep on playing it. It's irritating. You can't stop it. Everywhere you go, you just hear it, and then it starts. And then one time when you are taking a shower, all of a sudden you start humming that song. What? And then you catch yourself, and then you flip out like, what was that? That's repetition. Plus, they got demons on them. But the thing is, repetition is so often that you now remember it, and it's subconsciously. So it's like your body doesn't know that you hate it because you heard it so many times. So your body's like, oh, I must like it because I'm hearing it all the time. It's about, okay. And whoa. Well, if I repeat that with the scriptures, you're going to know it off of the top of your dome. You're going to go grocery shopping, and you're going to just think about breakdown. You're going to think about scriptures, So, yeah. Anyway, so let me speed it up, okay? 2 Kings chapter 16. So, wait, let me see something here. Yes, I already read that. Okay. Let me get this one here. And then I'll finish this off, okay? 2 Kings chapter 16, verse 1. In the 16th year, so yeah, I will get to this later. In the 16th year, let me just focus on this one because, I am all over the place. So, in the 16th year of Pekah, the son of Remaliah, Ahaz, the son of Jotham, king of Judah, began to reign. And the reason I'm reading this is to clarify this all up. And here, for example, so for 2 Chronicles chapter 25, verse 14, it says here, Aramites, but here it says Edomites. So you might get, what's that? Why is that going on? Well, I explained it here. This one, this verse explains it all, and also the Bible study, and also all that there. So when you see them being put in the land, so Aram put Edom back in the land because it was their land in the first place, but Judah kicked them out. Under King Solomon also, we ruled over them. That thing what's going on in Panama Canal right now, that Trump wants to do, he wants to take over the Panama Canal. That is what King Solomon did. Here, 1 Kings chapter 9, verse 26. And King Solomon made a navy a navy of ships in Ezion-Geber, which is beside Elath. They spelled it different because here you see, wait, let me remember. Okay, here you see Elath. If I type in the word Elath, you get it 3 times in the Bible. And if I type in the word Elath, you get it another 3 times in the Bible. So it's mentioned 6 times in the Bible. And here you have it again. Elath to Syria, And here you have Elath in the land of Edom by the Red Sea and stuff like that. So he built Elath. Okay, so going back to over here. Yeah, so 1 Kings chapter 6 verse 26. Sorry, 1 Kings chapter 9 verse 26. And King Solomon made a navy in Eziongabar, which is beside Elath, on the seashore of the Red Sea in the land of Edom. Why? And Hiram sent in the navy his servants, shipmen that had knowledge of the sea, with the servants of Solomon, which were Judites. 1 Kings chapter 5 explains you that. And they came to Ophir, which was a man, but he lived in a place in an area where you had a lot of gold in the Middle East, and that is now the days known as Saudi Arabia. And fetched from thence gold 420 talents, and brought it to Solomon. So he had power over that region. And then, if you understand the Panama Canal, he wants to take it back. Why? Because it's... Well, I'll show you why. What is the daily revenue? The daily revenue is 15 to 16 million a day. That's why he wants that money. He wants it. He can just taste it. He already has the Suez Canal, which is also about 16 million. But this is what they officially say. I mean, if you look at the boats, ships, I should say. Isn't it ship or boats? I think it's a ship, right? I think it's a ship. If you look at these ships, then you will understand how small you really are. Shit. Man, this... In the picture, it already looks big, man. Just looking at the picture. Just looking at this picture. You can already... Normally, when you look at stuff, you know, you don't see how big it is because it's a picture, especially when it's people and stuff like that. Right? People seem taller on the television, on the screen. But a lot of objects, they just seem small. But when you see this, you be like, hey, that thing, it looks big. It really looks big, you know? And then you look at this thing, and then you can understand that this boat is bigger than a normal car. And if this dwarfs it, wow, then it must be really big. So this shipment is, I don't know, it might be a few million worth. You know, and how many ships can go through the Panama Canal per day? Here. No, not at once, per day. It's about 35 to 40 ships. 36 to 38. Okay, cool, whatever. Maybe, you know, maybe if they're faster, they might hit 40. But yeah, they can't do a lot because it's a very small, narrow path here. But it's built this way to control, so that you can't go to the left. You need to go through there, or else. You know, and yeah, so you need to, but it's a very system. I'll link a video in the description box, so you can understand it for yourself. It's very strange how they made it that good, but anyway, let me go on. So 2 Kings 14 and 22, he built Elath, who? Azariah, and restored it to Judah. After that, the king Azariah slept with his father, so he passed away. So we had tug of wars with the land of Elath, the city of Elath in the land of Edom. We had a tug of war with it. But when King Solomon passed away, you know, we had a tug of war, and then we lost it. And then the man that I just read about, I forgot his name again, that king, he restored it back to Judah, so we got it back again. And then in this time, you know, well, actually, this is before, because this is in the time where King Solomon was alive still. You know, he was in... what am I saying? Sorry. 1 Kings chapter 11 is when King Solomon started to sin. And there we started to slowly, you know, kind of mess up and stuff like that. And in the time of Second Kings chapter 14 I just read, and that time we already lost it, and then that specific king brought it back to us and stuff like that. Okay, I'm talking too much right now. Let me just go back to just let's see, right? Sorry. Let me just read this here. Right? 2 Kings chapter 16 verse 2. 20 years old was Ahaz when he began to reign, and reigned 16 years in Jerusalem, and did not that which was right in the sight of Yahweh his power, like David his father. Yeah, he was a great grandson of David, so it's still his father. I think I already read all this, and I stopped, I think, here with 9, so I'm gonna just go further with 9 again then. And the king of Assyria hearkened unto him, for the king of Assyria went up against Damascus and took it, and carried the people of it captive to Kir, and slew Rezin the Aram king. And King Ahaz went to Damascus to meet Tiglath-Pileser. They changed his name, so I don't know how to pronounce that one fluently. King of Assyria. And so in First Chronicles chapter 5, the last verses, his name is spelled different. And saw an altar that was at Damascus in the land of Aram, which is here. No, sorry. Here, Damascus. And King Ahaz sent to Urijah, or Urijah, tomato. I don't know how you would pronounce it. I never heard anyone read it, so I don't know. Urijah, okay. I think it, I don't know. Uriah. Okay. The priest, the fashion of the altar, and the pattern of it, according to all the workmanship thereof. And Urijah, I just say that. Urijah. I want to say Urijah because, but anyway. The priest built an altar according to all that King Ahaz had sent from Damascus. And Urijah the priest made it against King Ahaz, came from Damascus. So he built basically what he said that he needed to do. And when the king was come from Damascus, the king saw the altar. So he was a while there. And he sent messengers that went to, travel back. And then he stayed a while. And then while he was away in Aram, in Damascus, he was building the stuff, he building the altar. And the king approached to the altar, then offered thereon. And he burned his burnt offering and his meat offering, and poured his drink offering, and sprinkled the blood of his peace offering upon the altar. And he brought also the brazen altar, which was from the temple of King Solomon, the brazen altar that we used, which was before Yahweh, which was before the Ark of the Covenant. So this guy was bold with it. That's crazy. Okay. From the forefront of the house, from between the altar and the house of the Lord, and put it on the north side of the altar that he made for the idol. And King Ahaz commanded Urijah the priest, saying, upon the great altar burn the morning burnt offering, and the evening meat offering, and the king's burnt offering, and his meat offering, with the burnt offering of all the people of the land, and their meat offering, and their drink offerings, and sprinkle upon it all the blood of the burnt offering, and all the blood of the sacrifice, and the brazen altar shall be for me to inquiry by. And what does he mean with inquiry? Well, if you go to the book of 1 Samuel 9, verse 9, before time in Israel, when a man went to inquire of the Heavenly Father, thus he spake, come, and let us go up to the seer. For he that is now called a prophet was before time called a seer. So he went to inquire of the Lord. Same thing as what Rebecca? Was Isaac or Rebecca? Yeah. No, what am I doing? Genesis. Same thing what Rebecca did. Genesis 25 and 22. And the children struggled together within her. And Rebecca said, if it be so, so if I'm really blessed, why am I thus? Why are the children fighting within me, if I'm really blessed? And she went to inquire of the Lord. She didn't ask the Lord herself. She went to a prophet. And then the prophet talks to the... No. The father talked... Well, the prophet asked the Heavenly Father, and then the prophet... And then the Heavenly Father talks to him. Or the father just talked to him. And then before you come... Like, if you read 1 Samuel chapter 9... Here, if you read this chapter... Saul was looking for Samuel. But Samuel already knew that he was coming. That's funny as hell. So in this case, the Heavenly Father already talked to him. Like he talked to him like, I'm expecting you. Hey, crazy! Oh my God, this is great. Yo, that's dope. Yo, that's the power of our people, man. You know what I'm saying? Hey. But you have witchcraft people that can do it too. I know people in South America that they could do shit. Yeah, but that's another story. They worship either entities or spirits and stuff like that, but some of them are born with it. You have those too, and I know a few people of those too, and they're just like this. Acts 16, and it came to pass, as we went to prayer, a certain damsel possessed with the spirit of divination met us. She was born with it, which brought her masters much gain by soothsaying, so she was a fortune teller. The same followed Paul and us, and cried, saying, these men are the servants of the Most High Yahweh. So she was not lying, which show us the way of salvation. She was actually speaking the truth. And this she did many days, because they have a lot of stamina. She not tired, because the Spirit is on her. But Paul, being grieved, he was like, hey, man, shut up. You bothering us. Turned and said to the Spirit, I command thee in the name of Yahweh Shai Mashiach to come out of her. And he came out the same hour. So she lost all her basically powers. She couldn't soothsay anymore. She couldn't do definitions anymore. You know, definitions and soothsaying is kind of the same thing. She couldn't do definitions anymore. Here, definition. Spiritual practices and stuff like that, knowing the future and unknown by supernatural things, power, and also soothsaying is the same thing. Fortune telling events and stuff like that. She might use an object, or she might just, use you or mirror, stuff like that. You have people in South America, and also in Africa. I wasn't even thinking about that. In Aram, you have a lot of them, like these type of people. What's his name again? I don't think I'm looking for this one. No, he is actually, his father is Puerto Rican. His father is Puerto Rican. I looked it up. If I'm correct, because I don't remember that good, but I think his father was a Puerto Rican, but I'm not looking for him. The other one was David Copperfield. That's what I'm looking. I always forget this name. Damn, this guy. If you look at him, he looks like a East Indian because he's Elam. Well, he's from that region, I would say. But when he got older, when he got older, he doesn't look like, he looked like some kind of, from the Middle East. He doesn't look like an Arab. He looked like those people, I don't know how to just explain it to you. Like Aram, he looks like Elam, Aram in Syria, stuff like that, Assyria also, which is Ashur. He looked like those people. But when you look at him here, he looked like an East Indian with them big ass eyes. And you have other ones like, I just saw it. Let me see. Wow. David. Oh yeah, here. This Chris Angel guy. Also from that same, the same place. All these people, They always have this magic shit, man. I'm telling you, they got powerful demons, boy. You know, they got some devils. You know, you have what's this guy's name? Dynamo. This guy, also from that region. I always see these faces, and then they have extreme powerful magic, like some devil shit. You know, so yeah, these people, these type of people, man. He actually looks like them, but his father, if I'm correct, I looked it up one time. I might have read wrong, but yeah, I still kind of remember that it was his father was Puerto Rican or something like that. Anyway, but yeah, so they look from that. They look like they're from that region. They have spirits on them. These people, you know. Anyway, so yeah. So you have people like that upon the planet Earth. So they can do soothsaying. Esau has those type of people too, by the way. But he's a devil worshiper, so he's gonna get the truth. Well, he's gonna get the answer, not the truth. He's gonna get answers and stuff like that, you know. But anyway, when to inquire by. Thus did Urijah the priest according to all that King Ahaz commanded. And King Ahaz cut off the border of the basins and removed the lever from off them, and took down the sea from off the brazen oxen, which is this thing over here. Let me see this one, and then after the Lord temple, this thing. So these are the brazen things for the offerings and stuff like that, the wash and all that there. And this is the sea that where the 12 oxen are upon. He took that. This guy is crazy. It says here off the brazen oxen that were under it, the 12 brazen oxens, and put it upon the pavement of stones. Disrespectful. That's like putting a meal. That's like putting a meal that you just made, yeah, and then you put it on the stone, on the ground. Damn. What? No. Food on the ground. But you get the picture. You get the picture. So that's like putting food on the ground. You know, damn, that's disrespectful. Anyway, so, and the convert of this for the Sabbaths that they had built in the house. The convert is a place that you can chill in the time of the Sabbath and stuff like that. And the king's entry without turned he from the house of the Lord for the king of Assyria. So he gave him an extra, he did things for him that are not supposed to be done for a heathen nation. You know? There was a other entry, and then he turned he from the house of the Lord for the king of Assyria. Man, he gave him royalty treatment. And I don't need to read that. But yeah. So actually, I just jumped over it, man. Damn. I was thinking, like, where am I gonna meet it? Am I not gonna meet it? It's right here, man. 2 Kings 16 and 5. Oh man. Then Rezin, king of Syria, and Pekah, the son of Remaliah, king of Israel, came up to Jerusalem to war, and they besieged Ahaz, but could not overcome him. At that time, Rezin, king of Aram, which is Syria, recovered Elath to Aram, and drove the Jews from Elath. And the Syrians came to Elath. He put the Edomites there. That's what it says in the Hebrew. And dwelt there unto this day. And through the history, you can see that because, well, to the study, I should say, actually, you can see that because that is what they did. And there's so many other instances where you can see that other heathen nations put other nations in the land in order to fight against us. That's why when you go to South America, you have all these Chinese people. You'd be like, what the fuck are you doing here? What the fuck? And then there's a video. I'll put the link in the description box for Panama. I actually do a video about it, by the way. I did a video already, actually, about the Panama Canal, which is, his name is Johnny Harris or something like that. Here, Panama, the dark truth. Okay, the dark truth about Panama Canal. And then you have the Chinese people that live there. And this is the biggest concentrations of Chinese people outside of China in the land, America, like that. Like, well, South America. Actually, yeah, I think America even, but I'm not sure about that, sorry. But I do know South America, in that region. Spanish, okay, whatever. Here.
The Chinese community here is the largest in Latin America.
Hoy somos afro-panameños.
The Chinese community here is the largest in Latin America, and you feel that when you drive around this.
What the fuck is it? Can you imagine if slave descendants went to America, or even African people from West Africa, and they started to make their culturistic buildings? They would bomb the shit out of you. If you do that in India, they would bomb the shit out of you too. If you do that in any other country, because they hate us, but they will, but they will go there and do that which they hate about us. And you know who allows that? Who did that all? Just to fuck with you. Just to fuck with us. Deuteronomy 28 and 45. I started 43. The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high. Now this was about the strangers that was in our land. You had the Kenites, you had the Canaanites, you had the Philistines, and those are the strangers. And then you had the ones around us. But nowadays the strangers in our midst are the lands that we occupy right now. And even there, they come and they excel above you. So I'm not even tripping. I just hate. So I'm very angry, but the Lord said he will do that. The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed. Because thou hearkenest, this is the reason. Because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of Yahweh thy power. Who is the voice of the Lord? Did he talk to us himself? Yeah, he did, kind of. Daniel 9:10. Neither have we obeyed the voice of Yahweh our power, to walk in his laws, which he set before us. By who? By his servants, the prophets. Again, Hebrews 1:1. Yahweh, who at sundry times and in diverse manners spake in time past unto the fathers, how? By the prophets. That's how he talked to you. That's how he talked to you. So yeah.
City.
I'm meeting up with Esteban, who is a...
Mi hijo no habla casi chino, pero ellos tienen la práctica, ellos saben que año no chino tiene que hacer, que tiene que quemar incienso, tiene que ir ante los abuelos, tiene recibir su sobrecito rojo, o sea, ellos tienen esa práctica, pero son panameños.
Yeah, they know them customs, but my children are Panamanians, and you can see that, you can see that the power thing, it's going here. Right, let me show you here.
On the treaty, Trump administration says that this is
de ninguna otra potencia.
Sorry. No, it's supposed to be here.
There's also another one of these on the Caribbean side of the canal, both of which are owned by one company that is based out of Hong Kong. They've owned and managed this since the late 90s.
So you have Chinese control here and Chinese control here since the 80s, he said. So he says the 90s, something like that. And now Trump wants to fight and get it back. they left it for 20 years, and China came up in there and ruled over us. You see? And who's making those 50 million plus something a day? Who do you think? Because if you go to a toll port bridge, if you go to a toll bridge thing, this thing, if you go there, who gets the money? See? Who gets the money? Who do you think? The government gets the money. They set this up. In Italy, you have the mafia. Yeah, the mafia set up tolls for bridges. Italian government gives final approval for bridge linking Sicily to the mainland. But wait, that's not. But who made them bridges? Who makes them bridges? It's the mafia makes them. Because they have money, and then they so-called help the government, and then they get basically legal money because they pay for the building of the bridges, and then they set up a toll. So you paying up the ass, so like it's fucking funny. Like what? Hey, that's crazy shit, man. Like some crazy shit. But yeah, you know. Either the mafia is gonna do it, or either the government is gonna do it. It's the same. It's the same. So yeah, hey, what up? Okay, I think I read 1 Kings chapter, 2 Kings 16 already. So now I can finally start with 1 Kings chapter 11. Then I can read it on just normally, Lord willing. And I think I will finish that in one. Okay, I'm not gonna say that. I'll leave that. I'll just stop this video right now and then read 1 Kings chapter 11.